Moving on to the PDP Governors Forum. Speaking politics now, the forum is pushing back against talks of a political merger ahead of the 2027 general elections. Despite increasing speculation following a high-profile meeting between Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, PDP governors insist their party is not aligning with any other bloc for now. However, they leave the door open for others to join the PDP as they gear up for the challenge for the APC in 2027. We'll examine the implications of this positioning and the broader battle for the opposition unity in Nigeria. But the meeting also addressed internal friction within the PDP. The forum's communique recognized Ude Okoye as acting national secretary, a decision that has sparked fresh controversy in the main opposition political party. Well, to add some context and analysis to the conversation, we have in the studio Comrade Daboiikiyabo Warmate, a PDP stalwart who strongly disagrees with the position of the PDP Governors Forum. But of course, let's first of all take a couple of steps back to Monday when that communique was read in Ibadan. Here are some of it from the PDP Governors Forum chairman, Governor of Bauchi State, Bala Muhammad.
Was speculation about the possible merger of political parties, groups, and or associations, the forum resolved that the PDP will not join any coalition or merger. The forum reiterates its position taken in Asaba on the issue of the national secretary of the party, but in the wake of the Supreme Court judgment, the forum resolved to recommend that the deputy national secretary acts as a national secretary pending the nomination and ratification of a substantive national secretary from the Southeast Zone at NEC at its next meeting. The forum calls for the review and reordering of priorities and strategies, including adopting a bottom-up template that guarantees the subnationals to constitute an effective line of defense against security breaches. While raising the concerns above, we condemn the recent attacks in Plateau State and commiserate with the government and people of the state, especially those who lost their lives and properties during the recent mishap.
All right. A snapshot there of the communique by the PDP Governors Forum, but two or three things did stand out. The idea of the coalition and the forum's position that there will be no coalition. PDP is not going to merge with any other political party. However, they're open to welcoming other political actors to join the ranks of the PDP. And of course, internally speaking, the back and forth about who is the real national secretary of the PDP has once again been resolved by the Governors Forum, whose weight has always been with Ude Okoye, as against Senator Anyanwu, who has been the main figure in this particular battle. Will this settle things for the main opposition party, which has been grappling with some of these internal wranglings for quite some time now, since their defeat in 2023? Well, let's get some perspective to this one. Comrade Daboiikiyabo, thank you very much as always for joining the conversation. Why do you disagree? Because from the outside looking in, it looks like the PDP governors are trying to stop the bleeding of the PDP and trying to take charge and stabilize the situation. Why do you disagree with their position?
Well, let me start by saying thank you for having me once again. I want to start by saying that the PDP Governors Forum is just like a support group within the PDP. They cannot constitute themselves to the NWC, to the NEC, nor the convention. With due respect to them, they are a pressure group or a support group in the PDP. They cannot make pronouncement and expect it to be binding. They can suggest, and they have said they suggest. So all they have done is suggestion they have presented to the NWC. Now, having said that, you see, the PDP Governors Forum have overstretched their reach and their action. Moreover, their recommendation or suggestion as regard the position of the National Secretary is unconstitutional. I did not see in any section of the Constitution that empowers the PDP Governors Forum to make pronouncement on who becomes a national officer of the party. So it's suggestion and it's not binding, and it will not be binding, because there are two things. One, the party constitution, which is the grand norm of the constitution, the PDP. Secondly, the Supreme Court judgment. They refer to the Supreme Court judgment by saying that the Supreme Court judgment said, parties should handle their internal affairs. But they forgot to add that the Supreme Court will say, in doing that, you must abide by your party constitution. That is the bone of the contention that has led to many times we've seen political cases as regards leadership of political party coming to the court. So abide by your constitution. And by that ruling, Netanyahu remains the substantive national secretary. And I've told on several platforms, I said, if the governors don't want Anyanwu, there are constitutional procedures to follow. We have it in section 45, we have it in section 47, we have it in section 57, we have it in section 59. Go to those sections. If the minders don't read the constitution, to tell them, our governors should go and read the constitution and not come up to dictate. Because right now, there is no difference between them and the president as regards state of emergency. They have declared state of emergency in that office as regards the national secretary position. And that is like a coup d'etat. It's not welcome. And they are going to Supreme Court to ask the Supreme Court to interpret the state of emergency in Rivers State. Same Supreme Court that they refuse to respect their judgment. If I'm a Supreme Court judge, I'll say go and respect judgment first before you bring the matter to us.
But it's safe to say that the Supreme Court, at least on this particular matter, has been consistent. It says parties should learn to abide by their own constitution.
Thank you.
Where in the PDP constitution does the position of the PDP Governors Forum, for instance, look like a violation? What part of the constitution are they violating?
They are violating not just the entire constitution, because one, Netanyahu has not resigned. He never resigned. Following section 47(5), you can go and contest and come back. If you win, fine. If you don't win, you can come back. Same thing happened with I'm using a member of the Governors Forum, the Taraba State Governor. He was the state chairman of PDP in Taraba State. He remained the chairman, contested as governor, won the primary, contested as the general election, won, still remained the chairman until he was sworn in, because that is what section 48(1) said. He said, until you assume the office. So Netanyahu did not resign, one, so the office of the secretary is not vacant. Number two, he did not assume, he contested but did not assume the office of governor. If he assumed the office of governor of Imo State, then automatically he has relinquished the position of the national secretary. And there is no position in a provision in our constitution that says there is an office called candidacy. If you become a candidate, that is an office. No, he said when you assume section 48(1), when you assume the office you are contesting. And what office is Anyanwu contested? Governor. Did you assume as the governor of Imo State? No. So at the issue, that office is not vacant. Anyanwu wrote to INEC to say, in the period I'll focus on my campaign, please let my deputy act. Letter is there. Let him act. And after he resumed, he wrote a letter again that he has resumed, notified INEC. So the governors are totally wrong.
Is that position up for Anyanwu to give out? Isn't that an administrative position that the National Working Committee is in charge of? I mean, while he was secretary, obviously he can write to INEC because he's the secretary of the party, right? He's in charge of communications like that. But the moment Ude Okoye becomes acting, isn't that the responsibility of the acting National Secretary of the APA, of the PDP, I beg your pardon, then to communicate in whatsoever form?
No. Ude Okoye is not in any way in this picture. Ude Okoye is a stranger, just like the Supreme Court said, he's an interloper. He's not in any picture. Because
what did the Supreme Court say?
He's an interloper, because number one, they said Ude Okoye was not a party to the suit at the Enugu High Court. It wasn't a party to the suit at the Enugu Division of the Appeal Court, and it wasn't a member. It wasn't a party to the suit at the Supreme Court. So how do you benefit?
I mean, all of these suits are invalidated by the Supreme Court. You know that they don't count for anything.
They don't count.
It's an internal affair.
And they Idoke was not at any point in time the national secretary of the party. So Anyanwu went, came back, because for you to have an acting national secretary, you must have a vacancy. They cannot employ someone in an office that is not vacant. Anyanwu contested as national secretary is to stay 4 years. And he stayed 4 years. Before his tenure, before this time, we've had a national treasurer from Ekiti State, went to contest, came back, resumed. We have a present deputy national police secretary of our party that went to contest in Kebbi, came back. So why is Anyanwu case special? We know it's political. And that's why I want to address it.
What is the motivation of the PDP governors? Because I want to point out something. If you can just roll that video again. There's one man that stands out in that lineup just behind the Bauchi State Governor. And of course, he's the acting leader of the PDP as far as administration is concerned. And that is Ambassador Umar Damagum. He's there while the Bauchi State Governor, the chairman of the forum, reads that communique. So it's safe to say that there is some
speculation about the possible merger
of the PDP
of political parties, groups, and or associations.
So what do you think is
the forum resolved that the PDP
suddenly the outcast?
No, you see, the PDP Governors Forum is a normal thing to invite the national chairman to be part of their meeting.
Does he look like somebody who disagrees with them?
You look at it.
You think he disagrees?
I don't think the national chairman agrees with what the governors are doing, because it's not constitutional. It's not constitutional. Not that he has special interest, but he's someone that abides by the constitution and believes whatever that is going to be done in PDP should be done in line, in consonance with the constitution. And following the constitution, the PDP governors don't have any constitutional powers to institute such recommendation.
Are they members of NEC?
They are members of NEC.
Right.
Why not go to the NEC and complain? Number one, you see, it's a simple matter. In fact, the PDP governors are the problem in this instance of the party. Why do I say so? They started with Ambassador Damagum. He must go. North Central must produce the chairman. We said no. Look at the constitution that you are quoting. Look at it. That is not correct. It's not like that. Look at the statement of the northern stakeholders when they pick IU as a consensus candidate. Listen to IU's brief when he accepted the consensus candidate nomination. He said northern stakeholders, and after they failed in trying to remove the national chairman, which created a lot of tension in the party, they went towards the direction of dividing the NWC to the extent and laughably and asking the national treasurer to announce himself as national secretary. It is very funny. From same zone with the person that they said should not remain as national secretary, as a national chairman. Now they succeeded to some extent, but later realized themselves. They brought it to the national secretary position using a convey meeting that they nominated Ido Okoye as national secretary through the Enugu State Governor. For crying out loud, do you nominate somebody to a position that is not vacant? That is the question. That position has never been vacant, because for that position to be vacant, either Anyanwu must resign or Anyanwu must, God forbid, maybe something happened, he's not alive. That is when that position will be vacant. Or they convey a convention, a special convention, pass a vote of no confidence on him. That is the constitutional provision. So there's no other way.
Is this
so? What resolution 2 in their communique is null and void. That been issue. It will not hold water.
As far as you are concerned.
As far as PDP members are concerned, not just me.
The governors are
because they are causing problems.
Yeah, but the governors are high-ranking members.
No, everybody is a member of the PDP. Everybody, we respect them. We respect the PDP governors.
But you are not a member of the NEC.
I'm not a member of the NEC.
But they are members of the NEC.
I'm a member. Yeah, they are members of the NEC.
So they are high-ranking members.
They are high-ranking members of the party. But so they should not act in a manner that is inconsistent with the constitution. That is our own.
What are the chances that that's just your opinion?
No, it's not my opinion. It's the constitution, I'm telling you. I dare any of them to give us a section in the entire PDP constitution that empowers them to make that such decision.
And to that point, there is no provision that explicitly captures this particular situation. where members of the National Working Committee can pick up the flag of the PDP going into an election, win or lose, and then determine their own fate, right? And that, I believe, is something that the PDP needs to look at internally to address this particular.
Remember, there was a time one of our former national legal officer, Mark Jacob, he said it before now. The word there, I think during his time or so, the word there was shall. But in the wisdom of the leaders then, they now amended the constitution to make it may. And when it is may, it is discretional. So Ayawa has not resigned. He did not resign, and we have precedent to that effect, which I've cited. So the governors have no basis. You know, they want to remove Ayawa to, using all means. They even went as far a committee that was set up decided to recommend laughably and shamefully recommend the expulsion of the national the national secretary without hearing his own part of the story. It's so disappointing, the desperation at which some of them are going. And from our investigation, it's because of his relationship with the FCT minister, a proxy war they are fighting. And some of them were with the FCT minister to the extent that they did anti-party. They did G5, but the IL they are fighting did not do G5. The IL they are fighting, they are talking about today, is a bosom friend of the FCT minister. So do you mean that because
there's only one G5 member in that group right now?
Yeah, that is they refer them to Governor Makinde. We know some of them that did the secretary. You were there, Bala Mohammed and Atiku's children are quarreling about it. Did Bala Mohammed support Atiku?
Yeah, but
the son said he did not support it.
He wasn't a member of the G5.
We have secret members. We have open members.
Is that what you're saying? That
yes.
He was a secret member of the G5?
Yes.
Is that an allegation or something you're 100%
They visited him. Right. And the FCT minister said it. I told him at the airport that please let's support Tinubu, because if Atiku comes, he will deal with me. So they should not come and act pious. What we are saying is that please, the government should allow the party breathe. They should follow the constitution, and by the constitution and the PDP constitution and the Supreme Court judgment, Netanyahu is the national chairman, and nothing can change that. He will resume after the Easter. He will resume as national secretary after the Easter, because there is no way you appoint his deputy to act when the substantive secretary is there. We were happy when the governors were back holding the meeting, because we felt they will consolidate on the peace that the Supreme Court has enshrined in the party by, even inviting Ayahu to the meeting and meet with him and discuss and, address gray areas where they have issues. But rather they came up and said the appointee is laughable, it's unconstitutional, it's a coup d'etat against the peace and progress of the party and PDP faithful. And it's a declaration of state of emergency. They don't have the moral ground to take the president to court with this their action. With this their action, they are not different from the president.
These two things are quite separate.
No, they are not separate. They might be separate. Looking at it from the two angles, the other has to do with political party, the other has to do with the governance. But what we are saying is that the action of the governors.
How is the factional national secretary?
No, there is no faction. I will not say that. There is no faction. There is no faction. We have one national. The governors not acknowledge. I will not say the governors is not the constitution. The governors are not the constitution. We have a grand law, but which the governors are. They took an oath to uphold the constitution of the party. You understand? And they cannot constitute themselves to be the constitution of the party.
You think this is the governors taking over the PDP and overreaching their boundaries?
No, see, the governors, if they want to take over the party, we don't have issue. But the issue is that don't do it through the back door, not illegality. We are against illegality in the party. And what their action, that resolution 2, is the height of illegality. Because there is no, the president in the declaration of the state of emergency reference section 103. They asked the PDP governor, they should give us one section. Yeah, that in the PDP constitution that empowers them.
All right, I feel like you keep comparing apples and oranges. River State is not PDP.
No, River State.
There's a bigger question there.
No, there's a bigger question there. Yeah. I'm just telling the action. I'm not telling the scenario. The action of them. Because they claim that the president acted unconstitutionally. Yeah, but why are you comparing the two scenarios? Because they are acting unconstitutional and they claim that the president is acting unconstitutional to the extent them they took him to court. So if you are coming to equity, come with a clean hands. That is what I'm trying to say.
Let's talk about that proxy war that is playing out here.
Yes.
Ude, Senator Anyao, they are both apparently, with no disrespect to their reputation, playing the game of the ones who are supporting them. On one hand, you have Ude supported by the Governors Forum. On the other hand, there is Senator Anyao supported by the FCT minister. How is this costing the PDP stability? Because the Governors Forum reportedly in that communique are preparing for the convention somewhere in August, right? And we reckon that this is going to set up yet another series of legal battles if all of these things don't get hashed out at this moment. How do you see this proxy war playing out? Because even some of the governors there are still friends of the FCT minister. I like to think they're still political allies. How does this whole thing play out? And is the PDP not losing at the end of the day?
You see, I release a press statement and say if anything should happen to PDP, posterity will judge the PDP Governors Forum chairman, and that is the person of His Excellency Bala Mohammed, with all due respect, has failed us. Because the challenges we are...
Is one among equal. Why is he
the chairman? You've used the right word. It's one among equals. It's the chairman of the forum.
Yeah, but it's only communicating the decision of the group.
No, it's under its leadership. Let me refer to, he reiterated the Asaba this resolution, where we gathered that they are among them, the Plateau State Governor is a lawyer, a senior lawyer, and advised them that based on the Supreme Court appeal court judgment, they should obey it, disregarding the stay of execution. Now there is a Supreme Court judgment. Why don't they refer to the Supreme Court judgment? You see the bias. Now this proxy war, if you have issue, I've said it, the governor should go and settle it with the FCT minister, and not.
Is there anything to settle with Wiki?
If they have, that's what I'm saying. They shouldn't bring it to the party and drag the national secretary to that issue and dragging the party back by so doing. Because there is nothing. Ask any of the governor one question: what has Netanyahu done wrong? They will not give you answer.
Is there a chance that he's not loyal to the PDP? He's loyal to Nelson Wiki, and we know Nelson Wiki is loyal. Let me get to the point. I'm asking a question. I'm not asserting that is what's happening. I'm saying, what are the chances that there is this sense that he's not loyal to the PDP, that his closeness to Wiki means that he also believes in Wiki's philosophy to work for the Tinubu administration, especially come 2027. And they're basically trying to get rid of him.
No. They should get rid of themselves, because some of them, they are even worse than him if they suspect him. Some of the governors. Because now, let me tell you, Netanyahu was the national secretary, stood for the party. When some of them you saw there were against the party candidate, presidential candidate, that is Atiku Abubakar, Netanyahu stood with him. It affected his relationship with the FCT minister. But notwithstanding, despite the unfair treatment meted to his region, the southern region, meted to his bosom friend, the FCT minister, he stood by the party. Some of them, Shey Makinde was referred to as the youth leader of the G5. So why will I be persecuted for being a bosom friend of the FCT minister, which most of them are friends of him and have benefited with him in the period where they became friends? So why should that be an issue? Instead of looking at the competence of the person, this man has been there and has been doing a lot progressively towards the unity and progress of the party. That should be what the governor should look. Not the relationship. If you have issue with anybody, resolve it.
Is there no risk in the PDP having faith in someone whose allegiance to the party is not 100% guaranteed, mainly because of his relationship with the FCT?
But he has precedence. He has been secretary, did not go with the G5, and stood with the party. So what else? I'm coming. If at that time Wike could not convince him to join G5, is it now? Some of them that he convinced to join G5, you be the one. They are the one that have
there are those who stuck around the PDP but still worked against the PDP.
Yes.
So what are the chances that Senator Anyao is one of them?
No, it's not one of them. It was clear. It even affected his relationship with the FCT minister. It was clear. They know the truth.
I mean, they're friends now, so
they know they are friends. And he's a principled person. Just like the FCT minister, we know our boundaries. This is it. It relates with it. So a bosom friend that they knew right from their relationship is over 2 decades, and they say you should just throw it away because some people are thinking that he influenced him. Meanwhile, he has proven that he may not influence him. No, the governors themselves should ask themselves that question among them. That is the issue. So Smitanya remains the national secretary, no dispute. There is no governor that will come and constitute himself to be the constitution of the party and dictate that Smitanya is not the secretary. We have only one secretary, and it's Netanyahu. He will resume after Easter. The governors knows about that.
Yeah. Okay, so you say the PDP doesn't have to worry about the allegiance or loyalty of Senator Anyanwu as the national secretary of the party.
Definitely not.
What about the FCT minister?
No, the FCT minister has made his position clear that he's with the party if the party does the right thing. He stated it when the party attempted to produce a presidential candidate. He said, let's
go with the latest update.
Yes.
The latest update is that he's going to work for the tinubu administration in 2027. He didn't mince words when he said it in public at several events, right? What should the PDP think of these public statements by the FCT minister? Is he a reliable member of the PDP, one that the party can count on?
The party has been counting on the FCT minister. Recently, the former Plateau State governor went as far as expressing that part of the FCT minister. The FCT minister statement, before then, you see, one thing, they are at that level. They see the body language. And maybe some of these actions of this governor has informed the statement of the FCT minister. Because look at what we are looking at. They ought to say, okay, let the national secretary be, let's close ranks and move forward. Southern region, you have 4 years, produce a candidate, let's go ahead. But right now, they don't even want to give that concession. And that is the bone of contention.
Who is they?
The PDP Governor Forum. Because that is their body language.
You just said they are an association. So
yes, they are an association.
Why are you expecting them to
you just said they are ranking members.
No, I'm going by your argument. I mean, you can't eat your cake and have it comment. You can't say on one hand that they don't have the authority, and then on the other hand you're saying they have the authority to make such.
No, they don't have the authority based on the constitution to decide that.
But they also can't decide where the next president comes from.
No, they don't have. But you saw what they did. They set up a committee that is usurping the functions of the NWC, the NEC, and the convention. It's the function of the NWC, not the Governors Forum, to appoint a convention member, despite committee, or whatever committee is there in the constitution. But see what they have done. These are some of the things that scare people to say that the governors are, progressing in error under the Bala Mohammed-led leadership. So that's why we are saying no. Do the right thing. And let there be peace in the party. What will it cost you? You can discuss with Anyanwu if you have any issue with him and resolve it. But you cannot, because of issue you have with someone else, bring it up and say it's not the national secretary, against the constitution, against the Supreme Court that you are running to judgment.
If Senator Anyanwu stepping down is going to save the PDP and stabilize the party, would you call on him to step aside?
Let me tell you, let us not deceive ourselves. I am not those kind of politicians.
No, but if you have to answer the question.
No, I want to answer the question now. I'm just telling you, Netanyahu stepping down will not bring peace.
I said, what if?
No,
his stepping down will stabilize the party.
Netanyahu stepping down will not stabilize the party in any way, because there will be other people that will say, no, who are you bringing? Now, for example, let me give you, I told the governors in a press conference, I said, for crying out loud, you are bringing somebody that the world saw. I received call from Saudi Arabia and different parts of the country that somebody that came with talks and was running with barefoot in our premises is the person you are nominated as national secretary, somebody that forged our certificate, our Congress document. And I told them that man cannot be our national secretary, for crying out loud. We are talking about
what is your personal beef with Ude Okoye?
No personal beef. What we are talking about, we want to give Nigerians the best, and we cannot afford to start giving Nigerians the worst from PDP.
Yeah, how do you think it looks? What do you make of the optics if, say for instance, the national secretary of the leading opposition party is hobnobbing with the #1 man that many consider the architect of PDP's failure in the 2023 general election, the FCT minister? What do you think that says to the rest of the party?
You see, the truth remains that PDP leaders know that Atiku is the problem that led to this crisis we are facing. If they allow the zoning, but they just said if they allow zoning to go ahead, the FCT minister will not have grounds to fertilize such things that people are saying about it. Because he said it clearly, let it come to the south. But he went ahead to say, no, we contest. Now you heard of something played out in Bauchi State. You heard Bala Mohammed's son accusing Atiku of not supporting. I
think those arguments are quite trivial, to be honest.
No, wait, I'm coming supporting the APC candidate because his choice of candidate for the PDP governorship did not emerge during the primaries. Now, that is same thing. He expressed his grievance in Bauchi State. Wike came out and told them that follow zoning, otherwise, or let the South produce the candidate, otherwise I will not support the party.
If we did not hide it, if we have to go with what Wike said, yes. He has said so many things that he later on contradicted himself.
Okay.
At the convention ground, just before the elections, he raised his hands, and the whole world saw him make a pledge that he will support whoever it is that emerges. Whoever it is. He wasn't particular to say if the person only comes from the South. And he went back on his words. But I say that to make the point that if we're going to say hypothetically speaking, if the zoning had been done in 2023, a lot of people could say, listen, if Goodluck had just decided to agree to let the North have the go in 2015, PDP would probably still be in power today. Because that was the agreement in 2011, wasn't it? That he was going to run for a single term and then allow the North to finish their term, which late President Yar'Adua could not see through. So if we're going to go about what if, the conversation is going to go round in circles.
Fine. So that's why we are concerned. We are not talking about, we said, because when they talk about suspend this person, we said no, let's abide by the let bygone be bygone philosophy of Ambassador Damagu and move this party forward. And that's why we hoped, we were so enthusiastic to the fact that the PDP governors will invite Senator Samuel Emeka, the National Secretary, to their meeting and close ranks. From there, move on and close ranks with whoever they need to close ranks. That is the way forward.
Okay. Finally, just before we wrap things up, their take on the coalition.
Yes.
They say no coalition. Do you also disagree with that?
No, I don't.
So you agree with them on this one?
No, I don't, because as I said initially, it's a suggestion, everything they've said. And before now,
they were quite very emphatic about it.
I'm saying based on the constitution, that is their own, based on our constitution, is what I'm talking about. They can't impose it on the party. NWC has to seek NECA to ratify such decision. Now, personally, I am against that, this thing, what is it called, coalition. I feel PDP has the manpower, PDP has the popularity to stand on its own. Highest, what PDP will need is a collaboration from other political parties and not coalition with other political party or merger, as they put it. So that is the stand. And I remember in one of the press conferences of the National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, he said it. He said PDP is not going for a coalition or anything. If you want to join, join. If you want us to collaborate with you, you can come, we'll discuss, but not coalition, not merger. And that is what the governors have just reiterated. So it's a new thing.
As far as the record shows, Comrade,
yes,
you don't have what it takes to win again on your own.
No, that is the assumption of
no. As far as the record shows, I'm going backwards.
No, let me say that.
You lost 3 successive elections.
Yes.
3 successive elections.
Yes.
And guess what? Guess what? From 2015, your numbers keep consistently coming down.
Now, let me tell you.
It went from 15 million to 12 million to 6 million or 7 million or thereabouts.
6 million plus.
So, where is the numbers going to come from?
No.
Are you ignoring other political forces out there?
No. See, PDP Nigerians have tasted APC. As we speak today, walk the streets of Nigeria, Abuja, any city, you hear people pleading. And that's why I want to plead with the governors. Please, call Anyanwu, sit with him. Because Nigerians are angry. Before I came to the studio, people are calling me, what is wrong with your governors? What will it take if that man sits there? What is the issue? All you want, Nigeria PDP, please, close ranks, come back and deliver us from all this suffering we are going through.
Okay.
That is what Nigerians are pleading. And that is to tell you that if today PDP come together, resolve our issue, Nigerians are ready to come out in mass to say PDP come this thing. We know where we got it wrong in the 2023. That P2B issue came and took our You know, if you look at our graph, north central to the southeast took our vote. But if you put our house right, our house, we will have that vote back, and we will produce and we'll get the APC out of power come 2027.
Only time shall tell.
I can assure you that PDP will bounce back. We have faced a challenge worse than this, and we bounce back, and we'll definitely overcome this.
I wonder what challenge you're referring to. Seems to be that you're still trying to recover from that one challenge from the APC. But of course, that is all the time we have for now. Comrade Daboiikiyabo, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for stopping by tonight.
Thank you for having me.
For the time. All right. That's our show for you tonight. Thank you most kindly for joining us. Daily Politics returns tomorrow, live and exclusive as always on Trust TV at 8 p.m. Until next time, I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. For myself and the rest of the team, thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.